Hi, everybody. Welcome to class. My name is Sarah Clark. So we're just going to get into a Vinyasa flow practice here right away. Props, you can grab a blanket, maybe a couple of blocks. Might be helpful. All right, so we'll just place your props off to the side and sit either with your hips on your heels or even putting a block under your hips, but coming to be seated on your knees. All right, just close down your eyes, relax your shoulders, and feel the lift of your heart space, pulling up. And then start to notice your breath as you exhale, you pull your navel in towards your spine. When you inhale, it's a softening in your belly as you fill your lungs. And exhaling, pressing it out. Just having a few deep breaths here. Let your face be soft. And just arrive. You have arrived physically, but arrive mentally here, consciously. All right. Then inhale, open up your eyes and take your elbows to lift as high as your shoulders, sort of like a cactus shape of your arms, but your hands are parallel to the floor. Your forearms parallel to the floor. And you're just going to take a slow twisting side to side. And you can close your eyes if you want to. We're just going to start off slow and just imagine like there is a string attached to your belly button and it's pulling forward. So you want to keep your core centered, but you're just going to twist in the middle part of your spine. And then you can add on, you can make it a little bit quicker. You're twisting side to side. Now, as you do this twisting, just watch how you breathe. This is kind of like one of those tapping your head and rubbing your belly scenarios where you can move, yet maintain a steadiness in your breath. And listen to your body. Maybe you're going at a speed that works, that's appropriate, and just stay like that. And if you have some creaking, some cracking, some aligning happening here, self-adjustments, maybe you want to add on, maybe you want to go a little quicker. I'll leave that up to you. Try and relax your shoulders as much as possible as you do this. Continue with your breath. Maybe you're going to speed up to your fastest rate here. And keep your hips level, pelvis on your heels. And then start to slow it down. Slower. Slower. And stop. Your palms face out away from your hips and you relax your arms down by your sides. See if you can pull your pinky fingers towards the front of where you're facing, whether that's the front of your mat or the side. And when you inhale, you're going to reach your arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, take your right arm underneath of your left arm. And then cross. Take your hands to hug the back body, coming around to your shoulder blades. Then soften the shoulders and the elbows down and bring your hands together. Possibly you're holding your wrist, right hand holding left wrist, or interlock the fingers. Now inhale, lift your gaze and lift your fingers up. And when you exhale, pull your elbows down towards your belly button. Drop your head. Inhale to lift up. We'll just do this a few times. Press your tailbone back behind you. And exhale to pull your tailbone forward towards your elbows as your elbows come in towards your thighs or your torso. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to pull it down. Inhale, open up the arms. And then exhale, place your hands beside your body, pinky fingers forward. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, left arm under. Cross your arms first, and then reach around for the back of your shoulder blades. Lengthen your spine, relax the shoulders, and gather your hands in closer together. Your hand maybe holds your right wrist. Inhale to reach your fingertips up, and your tailbone pulls back towards the back of your head. Exhale, pull it in towards the center line, and drop your head. Just two more. Inhale to pull your tailbone back, lift your chest. And exhale to pull everything in, bending at the elbows, chin to chest. Final one, inhale to reach up to the sky, and then exhale to bring it in. Chin in. Inhale, reach your arms up, reach your gaze up, look up, and then exhale. Take your right hand beside you. Inhale, left arm is going to come long, stretch over. Start to lift off your heels and extend your left leg out. You might have to readjust your right hand into this side plank variation. And then from here, with the left hand reaching long, you can lift your left leg up, point your toes, and start to make circles with your left leg. So circles in a maybe clockwise direction for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go in the other direction. Keep your foot lifting up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point your toes, flex the foot, and get long. And then bend your left knee and reach for the left foot. And you can start to kick your foot back behind you. All right. And then a gentle release of that foot. Look at the right hand. You're going to bring your left hand beside and just square off your hips. Bring your left knee behind your right knee and start to lean back towards the hips. Now, this is an awkward style of child's pose, and your hips might not go very far back, or maybe they do, and you can start to relax your head. It's if you're quite flexible, quite possibly your hip will be touching the left heel, and you'll be reaching forward, keeping your whole torso parallel to the floor. All right, and then come back forward and place your elbows down where your hands were. You're going to lift your left leg up as you lift your gaze. And then when you exhale, pull your knee in towards your nose. And inhale to bring your foot back up. Now, as you continue with this movement, just watch that the elbows don't splay open. Keep your elbows in, shoulder distance apart. They can even be a little wider than shoulder distance, but your hands are the same distance apart as your elbows. A lot of times the hands creep in. Just two more. Inhale to lift up. Starting to really work and warm up the spine in all directions. Exhale, last time to bring it in. And then move back into that side plank variation. Press into the right hand, lift your left arm up, and then come to set your hips on heels one more time. And inhale, hands to hips. Lengthen your spine. Take your hands behind your hips and come up to sit on your knees. All right. Now from here, we're just going to take your arms open up wide, and we're just going to do a little bit of this twisting side to side. So again, there's like this string that's pulling your navel forward. So we're not inviting the hips to be moving all around, right? Just opening, opening, opening. Okay, now turn to the right and just drop your right hand down and the left arm up. We're not moving into a back bend, just a twist. Come back to center and turn to the left. Drop the left hand down, lift your right hand up, and your hand's probably not touching your leg. That's totally fine. And then come back to center. Let's just go one more time to the right. Flip your toes under and lift your heels, and then drop the right hand down behind you. Without moving into a back bend, you want to think about bringing your low ribs down. Just a twist. Left arm can be reaching up towards the sky. And then go to the other side. Turn to the left. Keep your chest upright. Maybe your fingertip touches your left heel. And then think about bringing your right hip back. A twist. All right, inhale, come back up to center. And then take your left hand down beside you and move into that side plank. Place the left knee under your hip, right arm up, and then reach your right hand long. Point your back right toes as you lift your foot and start to make a clockwise circling of your foot in a clockwise direction. As your right hand is extending over, let's do this for 4, 3, 2, 1. Change directions. Keep your foot lifted. Keep from the hips pushing back behind you too far. Keep going for 3, for 2, and for 1. And then turn. Look at the left foot and place your right hand behind. Keep your right leg up. Bring your knee behind your left knee. And then pull your hips back. And maybe your head drops heavy. And here you get to just stretch at the hips. Take a few deep breaths. Establishing that connection. Mind, body, and also spirit here in these classes. So take a few deep breaths. And then come forward onto your left knee and place your elbows where your hands are. Start to extend your right foot back and up. And when you exhale, pull your right knee in towards your navel. Knee to nose, nose to knee. Inhale, lift the leg up. And keep some action on your hands to push down. Pull it in. Inhale to lift up. And just keep going. So nice and slow with your movement. Very aware with every part, every inch of your body, from your fingertips to your toes. 2 more. Exhale in. And the leg goes back. Come up onto your hands. Back into that side plank variation. Right arm up towards the sky. All right, and then place your right foot on the ground. Let's inhale, reach up and over into gate pose. Right hand to your leg. Left arm over. And then coming down, windmill back into a downward facing dog. Lift your hips up. Move your hips from side to side. And then take your right knee to the ground in side plank variation just for a moment. Keep your left foot grounded, left arm long. And then inhale, gate pose. Rising up, left hand onto your leg. Right hand long. Stretching. And then windmill it back down, downward facing dog. Lift your hips, drop your head.
Keep your feet hip distance apart and slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Bend at your knees generously, and generally, I guess. All right, inhale halfway up, but to bring your elbows on top of your knees, connect your fingertips. Now start to really lift your chest and your sits bones up, exaggerating that. And then when you exhale, you're going to pull your navel in, round, tuck your tailbone forward, and drop your head. Inhale to lift your sits bones up, and your chest and your shoulders melt away from the ears. And then the exhales to wrap under. Keep going. Now follow the rhythm of your breath, and if it's going faster than mine, relish in it. Why not? As long as you're not hyperventilating. As long as your movement is slow and controlled. Bring it in, tuck under, tailbone forward. We'll do 2 more. Last one. Inhale to lift your gaze, and then exhale to pull it in. Now, start to straighten out your legs a little bit. If you wish, your hands can come to the floor. And from here, your own variation of a forward fold. And some of you like to interlock your arms behind your legs, or possibly hold one elbow, hand with opposite elbow over your head, and drop your head. Now, yes, we are hanging out here to allow your spine to open, your back body to unravel some tension, but we're completely mindful of how we're holding the weight on our feet. So we're continually paying attention to every part of our whole entire body throughout this practice. Mindful movement is truly a part of the movement aspect of yoga. Whether you're doing something quite intense physically, you're always having that awareness, that mindfulness in how you move, and never forcing yourself in one direction or another. All right, release your hands down. Inhale, halfway lift. This is a straightening of your spine as your heart pulls forward. And then exhale to fold and dive forward. Push down through your feet and inhale, rise up. Stretch your hands up high. Exhale your hands to your heart center and then interlock the fingers, push down. When you inhale, lift your arms up to the sky, get really tall, lift, 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 and then take your arms over to the right as your hips move to the left. Inhale to come up to center, and exhale, go over to the other side, to the left. Hips to the right. And then inhale, come back up to center, and when you exhale, halfway to the ground is where you're going to go. You're going to bend your knees. Inhale, push your hands away from your shoulders, and then exhale, fold, bending at the knees. Push into the feet. Inhale, hands walk forward, and then exhale, just land in downward dog as you lift your hips, as you drop your head, and you relieve all the muscles in your neck. You can nod your head yes and no a few times. You can pedal your heels up and down. Spread your fingers out wide. And then exhale, come forward with your chest. Inhale, lengthen, push the floor away. And when you exhale, come down onto your belly. Right to the floor. Now inhale, a little cobra, the shoulder heads move back, and the tops of the feet push down to the floor. Lower yourself down. Let's do 3 more times. Inhale to bring your shoulder heads back.
And then lower down. You can make some assist happen here by pushing into the floor, but mostly your back body is lifting you up. Last final one, your shoulder heads can roll back. Use your knees as your navel pulls in. Pull your hips back, straighten your arms, and downward facing. Tuck. Lift up your right leg. Press the back of the heel high. And exhale, knee forward. A gentle step. And drop your left knee to the ground. Hands to the top of the right knee. Push your knee away as you lift your gaze. And then when you exhale, pull your tailbone forward. Hips pull back slightly. Head drops. Inhale, shoulder heads down. Lift your gaze. Tailbone back. And then exhale, pulling it in. All right, come to a middle position with your hips and lift your back knee off the ground. Then take your both arms up towards the sky. Lift up. Take your left arm underneath and cross twist, tie your arms together into eagle arms. Inhale, lift your hands up to the sky. And then exhale, pull your elbow down to your knee. And exhale. Inhale to lift your gaze up, pull your tailbone back. We'll just do this one more time. Exhale to pull it in, manipulating, changing that shape slightly with the hips, and then coming back up to center. Relax the shoulders down. Come into a neutral position, and then arrange your hips so the left hip is forward and the right hip is back. Slowly drop your back left knee to the ground as your hips lower down. And then lift your hands up as you start to look up to the sky. Your hands can straighten. Your hands can reach way over top of the head. Your head can drop back. Just press onto the back foot. Good. When you exhale, come forward to plant the left hand down. Lift the back knee. Twist by lifting your right arm up towards the sky. Lift, lift, lift. And then exhale, turn all the way to the left side of your mat and come into that like a straddle bend. Your toes face the sidelong edge of your mat. And then inhale, halfway lift. Right hand underneath of your shoulder or heart. And then inhale, left arm up to the sky. You can bend a little deeper into the left knee and straighten the right leg. And then exhale, twist other side. Left hand down and the right hand up. Bend deeply into the right knee or as deeply as your body wishes. And then turn to the right foot and pivot all your toes to face that front side. Inhale, your arms come up towards the sky. And then gather your hands to your heart center. Put some weight on the right foot. Inhale, stand tall. Lift your left knee up with you. And then feet side by side or hip distance apart, palms forward. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And exhale, dive forward to fold. Halfway lift of your spine. And then drop down, hands to the ground. Step your right foot back. Drop your knee. Take your hands to your left knee and push the knee away as your chest lifts up. Your tailbone pulls back behind you. And then exhale to bring your chin towards your chest, your tailbone forward. Drop your head. Inhale to lift your gaze up. And exhale to bring it in to center. A few more times, 2 more times. Lifting and exhale in. One more. Invite your shoulders into this action. And then come back to center. Press into the left foot. Inhale, your arms reach up and lift your back knee off the ground. Now your right arm is going to come underneath. Cross twist, tie your arms together. Eagle arms. Draw the right hip forward and activate your back leg. Inhale, lift your fingertips up. You'll feel your tailbone pull back slightly. And then exhale, pulling it in, elbows to touch your knee. And think about drawing in, tailbone forward. Inhale to lift up. Look up maybe, drop the head. And then exhale. This is the last time to drop your elbow to your knee. Then slowly dropping the back knee to the ground, you're going to inhale and lift your fingertips up. And this can be a deeper expression, even moving into a back bend if you want to drop your head. Think about your tailbone pulling back. Drag your left heel energetically towards your torso. And then come forward and plant the right hand. Lift the back knee, twist as your arm opens up to the sky. And then turn to the long right edge of your mat and all your toes fit there. Turn to that side. Left hand plants, inhale, right arm comes up. And you just take your hand underneath of your heart as your right hand lifts up towards the sky. And change, right hand comes down and your left lifts up. And then turn to your left foot. And we turn so your toes face in that direction. Inhale, your arms come up towards the sky. And then gather your hands to your heart. Press into your left foot and lift your right knee up. Come to stand with your right knee lifting up to the sky. And then feet touch down, palms face forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive forward and fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And when you exhale, feet to the back of your mat, stepping into plank. Pull your heart forward and lower down to your belly or go halfway to the ground. This is chaturanga. Hands are flat as you pull your your shoulders up. Upward dog. Or a cobra, your knees can be on the ground, and then just move into a downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up towards the sky. Back of the heel lifts, and then pull your knee forward. Step into a low lunge. Drop the back knee to the floor. Inhale, your arms come up towards the sky, and then exhale, your hands come to your heart center, and just turn to face the left side of your mat. Drop your right elbow to the outside of your knee and twist. So the tailbone comes forward as you twist. As you inhale, you're going to come back to center, lift your back knee, and then bring your back heel in and down, warrior two. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, reverse your warrior, so reaching top hem back. Exhale, side long angle, elbow touches your knee, right hand forward. Start to lift your back heel, plant the right hand below the shoulder, even slightly in front. Inhale, twist, lift your left hand, and then find the outer edge of the right foot, step halfway back. A side plank variation. Left hand is going to go long. Reach it straight over your head as you extend. And then turn. Downward dog. 3 pointed though, so lift your left leg up. Now come forward to high plank and pull the right knee to left knee to right elbow, and then kick the foot off to the side of your mat. Find the instep of the back foot and start to lift off. Now you can lift your left foot off the ground as you bend your right knee, and then transition into a full side plank as you find the outer edge of the right foot. As you lift your left leg, you can do that if you want. And then looking forward, you're going to step the left foot forward into crescent lunge. Arms come up towards the sky. Interlock the fingers on the top of the right knee, lean forward, inhale, fly up. Airplane. Now you can keep the bend of the left knee. Find stability. Use your breath. Press the back of the heel straight behind you. And if it's possible or feeling like you want to go further, let your arms open up. And then come up to stand with your hands together and pull your right knee up to your chest. Hands meet in front of the heart. The right leg is going to go over top of the left leg, and you're going to land an eagle with your legs first. Then take your arms up towards the sky, and your right arm will go underneath of the left arm. Cross and twist. Tie your arms together. Now lengthen your spine first. Feel your hands lift, elbows as high as the shoulders. Stable and strong. Letting your breath assist you. Exhale, pull your elbows in towards your knee as you sit down. Sit back, a little lower here. Keep breathing. Let your arms first open and then extend your right leg back. Airplane pose, full expression. Stay for 3. Breathe for 2. Hands to your heart. Stand up and place your right foot down on the ground. Inhale, arms come up towards the sky. Clasp your fingers, release your index fingers, thumbs crossed. Stretch up tall and reach up and over to the right. Give your left side body, even your hips, a nice ring out. Push your hips further towards the left. As your hips move to the left, relax your shoulders. Good. And then come back up to the middle. As you exhale, fold forward, hands to the ground. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And when you exhale, step the left foot back. Drop your knee to the floor. Inhale, both your arms come up towards the sky, and then gather your hands to your heart as you turn to the right first, and then drop your elbow to your knee. Twist. Lengthen, 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 and then twist. Think of your tailbone dropping into your right heel. And then inhale, come to the middle. Lift your back knee and gather your fingertips interlocked to the top of the right knee or thigh. Lean forward and fly as you lift your right leg. And then staying here to establish a sense of balance. And I missed something, so drop your back foot to the ground and take your left hand to the floor. Take your right hand up and find a side plank variation where your right foot is halfway back. And breathe. You can extend your right arm over top of you, igniting your core body. And then a 3-pointed dog pose as your right leg lifts up. Take your right knee to left elbow across and kick it out to the side. Your foot can go on the floor. You can straighten your left leg, but truly find the instep of your left foot. Get long through the side. And then if you want, lift your right foot by bending your left knee. And transition to a full side plank where your right leg lifts. Your right arm can come up too. Look forward and step your right foot forward. Now full crescent lunge. Lift your arms up. Lengthen and reach up to the sky. And then take your hands to the top of the right knee. Okay, we'll fly into that airplane pose. Lift the foot up. Start to lift your chest, extending your arms out if that feels appropriate for you. Breathe. Hold for 3. Breathe for 2. And come upright to stand as your hands gather to your heart. Lift your left knee up and take your left arm left leg over your right leg. First land with eagle legs in your your posture. And then take your arms up to the sky. Your left arm is going to come underneath your right arm, cross and twist, tie your arms together. Relax the shoulders down. First, really lengthen your spine. Connect with this posture by bringing your left hip back a little bit. Level your shoulders. Elbows are as high as your shoulders here. Lengthen. And then exhale, elbows dropping down as you sit a little bit lower, a little bit deeper into this posture. Hips pull back, chin drops down. And then let your arms first open, keep steady on the right leg, and fly back into airplane pose, your leg behind you. Hold it steady. Bend at the right knee to keep your hips level and activate your whole body. Fingertips to toes. Stay for 3. Breathe for 2. And 1. Come up to stand. Arms come up and over your head. Clasp your fingers. Release index finger, thumbs crossed. Stretch up. And reach to the left. Hips move to the right. Now the point of this standing half moon posture is to keep pressing your hips to the right and to allow an opening for the right side body, for your hips. Okay, and then come back up to center. Bending at both of your knees, gather your hands to your heart. Sit down low into your hips. Lengthen your spine. And when you exhale, twist to the right. Left elbow is going to drop down. See if you can push your hips back behind you. Lift your heels. Sit down. So you're squatting on your heels. And then keep pressing your left hand to the floor as your right hand reaches back. Then look behind you. Your left hand can hold your knee, and you're going to place your right hand behind you. All right? And then just move. Where do I want to go with this? Yeah, let's move into this like crab position. Feet hip distance apart. Fingertips point forward. And then turn so that the left fingertips point forward and find wild thing. So right foot is behind you. You can start off this way. You can keep lifting your hips up. You can lift your right foot up too. Lift. Turn to your right hand. Put your right hand where your right where left is. And then find that other variation where the right foot extends out to the side. And then place your right foot on the ground. And let's see if we can reverse out of that how we came in. So feet together. And drop your left elbow to your right knee. Twist. All right, and then coming back to the middle, you're going to press your heels to the ground and back into that seated position. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. Turn to the left side as your hips push back. And drop elbow to knee. Twist. Level your knees. Level the hips. Lift your heels. And then sit your hips back onto your heels. Coming up, right hand goes down, left hand reaches up and back. And then coming all the way down to crab walk yourself back onto your hands and press your hips up. All right, and then turn to your left hand. Your fingertips are going to point forward, and you're going to find, I think we have to go the other way, actually. So look to your right hand and point your fingertips out. And then find this wild thing variation. Just make sure that your wrist is even slightly in front
of your shoulder. And then as you find Wild Thing, that's where your heart lifts up towards the sky. You can even start to drop your head and look to the floor. Lift your left foot if you want. And then look at the right hand and just replace left hand where right hand is. Find the instep of the right foot and kick your left foot out. And then taking it back so your feet are side by side. Come back to this squatting twist with your elbow to your knee. And then press your heels to the floor and back into the twist. Okay, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe step your feet a little back. And when you exhale, crow pose. Knees to the back of your arms and lift off. Now in crow, you can pull your hips up. You can lift your feet off the ground. You can come to the point where your knees start to lift off of your arms. And for those of you who are working on lifting a leg, lift your right leg up and step it back. Pull your left knee into your chest. So you're in this plank pose with your knee coming forward. Pull your heart up, back of your heart to the sky. And then step into crescent lunge. Arms come up towards the sky. Lean forward, twist to the left. Right elbow touches your knee. And then fly as your right leg lifts up. Now take your right hand down below the right shoulder. So it's to the right of the right foot. And then take your left hand to your low back. Now it's possible you need a block to put underneath of your right fingers. Twist and look to the left. Stay for 3. Breathe for 2. And change it. Half moon, left hand goes down, and your right arm comes up. Lift your right arm up towards the sky. And then come all the way up with your chest so that you can step this back into warrior 2. Now we're going to heel toe the back foot in once and straighten out the front leg. Pull your hips towards the back of your mat. Triangle. Left hand is going to go down. And your right arm is going to stretch long. Extend. And then look at the floor and bring your right hand down and your right knee down as you swivel your heel up. Now, this is where you might need your blanket to put under your right knee. You're also going to step your left knee back. So both your knees side by side. This is really interesting. I've actually, until recently, I've never tried this before. So take your time. Maybe put the blanket under your knee, which I'm going to try that because I think it might actually help. Help with the balancing aspect. All right, so take your hands to your hips to start and just play with lifting your left knee away from the floor and just hovering. So just try and get to a point where your knee is not on the ground and you're balancing on the right knee. And we're just going to try and think of chicken winging your left knee up to the left side and just sort of doing this little chicken wing with your legs to the side and down to the side. So you're very aware of the muscles required to lift your left knee off to the side. The left knee up, the left knee down. All right. Now bring your knees back side to side and lift your left foot up so that you can grab a hold of the foot. Let's start with the hand on the outside of the foot and your knees coming in together. Okay. So this is where, and I'll just grab a couple blocks because I think to make this accessible for most people, the blocks are going to really come in handy here. So you can have that block right in front of you. Now, as you have your knees together, you're going to start to lift your left knee away from you. And you can have your right hand on the block.
to help you. And then when you get to a point where you feel like you're steady, you have some control, maybe change the grip of your hand on your left foot. Now, think of that chicken winging of lifting your left knee up and then coming back to center. Now, the challenge here is to turn this into like a version of dancer with your left knee lifting up and away. So we'll just get into that for a few seconds, for a few breaths. Okay, gently come back to center and bring your left foot in front of you. Gather your hands to your heart. Tuck your back toes under and come up to stand. Bend your right knee. Now let's practice dancer on this right leg. Left leg standing, but holding the right leg. Hold the inside of your foot and bring your knees in together to touch. Then start to kick your foot up and back. As your left arm stretches up, start to kick up and back. Reach your left hand forward. And then come back to center and bring your right foot or ankle above the left knee. Take your hands to your heart, pull your hips back, and start to hinge forward to fold. You might want to clear some space on your mat if you have things in the way. Pull your hips back. And then gather your hands to the floor and take your right knee to right elbow. Lift your left foot. And we can change this into crow if you're floating your legs and you have that control to keep your legs floating and go into crow. Do that. Otherwise, meet in crow. Lifting the left leg. Stepping it back, hugging your right knee in towards your belly. Pulling it forward. Puffing up your upper back. And then dropping the right knee down. Left knee also comes down. Maybe you put a blanket under your left knee. And then we play a little bit. Hands on hips, lifting the right knee up. And then opening the knee to the side and pulling it back down. Open, down. Stability. Focus. Breath. Steady. Centered. 2 more times of lifting the right knee off to the side and then bringing it back. And then coming back to center. Now, you can let your knees both touch down for a moment. Hold the outside of your right foot as you lift it. And then grab a hold of the foot. You might need your block. Start to kick your right foot up and back. And if you're stable, find the inside of the right foot. If you have the inside of it, you turn this into like a sugar cane, but on the knee. And now the trick is to move into dancer from here while balancing on the left knee. So level your hips, take your right knee down, left arm up, and then maybe you kick up and back. Left arm reaching forward or place it on your block. Roll the right hip down. Stay for 3. Breathe for 2. And for 1, come forward. Step your right foot forward and find the instep of your back foot. We move into warrior 2 pose. Inhale, reverse your warrior. So I'm making up for the beginning when we did this on the one side and not the other side. All comes back around, right? And then right elbow, down, side long angle. Now heel toe the back foot in 1 time and straighten out the right leg. Right hand can press on the front of your shin, but just make sure that there is a tiny bend of the knee, that you cannot like hyperextend and let the knee swoop forward. You're strong. And then start from here to lift your back heel and move into crescent lunge. Lift your arms up towards the sky and twist to the right. Left elbow touches your knee. As you do this, twist. All right. And then come back up to center. Press into the right foot. Actually, we'll do this first. Grab your block and place your block in front of your left shoulder. Right hand to your low back. This is revolved half moon. Lift your back foot. And if you have the stability and flexibility to also lift your right arm, do that here. And we'll stay for 3. Breathe for 2. And 1 half moon. Lift your left hip. Right hand can be on a block. And then we slowly transition into warrior 2. Just one last time here. Lift your arms up, lift your back heel, hands to your hips, come to stand up tall. Now dancer pose standing, so much easier than on the knees. Hold the inside of your left knee, reach your right arm up, and start to kick your foot up and back. Kick up, kick back, start to extend your right hand forward. For 3, for 2, and 1. Come back and bring your left foot to the front of your right knee and hinge forward. Blocks are so handy. Now you might want to move your stuff out of the way and sort of shimmy yourself back to more of the middle of your mat. And now this one last transition, if you're in this forward fold and that's enough, just stay there. If your hands go to the floor, bend your knee till your left knee is on your elbow. And if it's possible, transition back into crow. You might have to drop your feet to the ground a few times. And then either hop or step your feet back to plank, low plank, upward dog, and to plank so that you can go down to your belly. All right. Now from here, take your shoulder heads back. Hands can stay under your shoulders or even moving a little further back. Press your pubic bone down to the floor and start to lift your feet off the ground. Look down. Chin towards your chest. Hover the hands if you want. And now just start to lift one leg at a time. Now be mindful that you're not bending your knees and you're not encouraging that side of your hip to lift up. You're equally pressing the center part of your pubic bone down to the floor as your legs lift one at a time, moving at a speed that works for you. And then hands can hover. Let's go for 5, for 4, for 3. Keep the legs up, 2, 1. Keep the legs up. Now stretch your hands back. Find your full expression. Flying. Lift your low ribs off the floor. Lift your feet up. Lift your thighs up. Stay lifted. Bend one knee or both knees at the same time. Hold the outside of the feet. And move into floor bow. You can either choose to lift your feet up or keep your knees close to the floor and lift your chest up. Stay for 3. Full expression for 2. And 1. Come down. Place your hands under your forehead and just fully rest. Quite naturally, your heels might fold in or fold out. And then gather your hands under your shoulders. Now, straighten and fire up through the front of your legs. Take your shoulder heads back. We first come into Cobra, so you can stay in Cobra. Otherwise, you can move into full upward dog. Shoulder heads lift. The shoulder heads roll down your back. And then pull your navel in and move into a downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and bring your knee to your right wrist. Setting up for pigeon. So keeping your right heel in close to your groin. Lengthen and down to your elbows. If your knee is not a fan of this posture, then roll onto your hip, bend up your back knee, and take it more into the yin posture of deer, where your right shin is parallel to the front of your mat. Bend your back knee as much as you would like, as much as feels great. And then you can go down from there. Rest your forehead on a block. Take a few deep breaths. Your variation of a hip stretch. Just 2 more breaths. You've completed that. Just move into downward dog. If you want a vinyasa, cycle through. Do that. And we'll meet in downward dog. Lift up your left leg. Knee to your wrist. Pigeon or deer. When you're ready, come down to your elbows and we just get right into the stretch. Right into some nice long exhales. Knowing you can adjust the postures to suit you. We'll just sink into 3 more breaths. And when that final breath is done, hands under your heart, back to plank, chaturanga, if you want. Otherwise, just meet in downward dog. Drop your head. And then looking forward, you can bend your knees, either step, walk, or hop your feet forward. Come to lie on your back. So you're going to take your left leg over top of your right leg. You're going to pull your knees in towards your chest. Drop your head back. You can hold your shins, your feet. And then just let your knees fall to the right. So your feet can still be sort of hooked around, and your right hand can come to your top knee, left knee. Relax your left shoulder. Just find the sweet spot. And then come back to the middle and bring your left knee in towards your belly. So your hands can come behind your left knee. And lift up. Press into your right foot. Bring your right foot fairly close to your hips, and then lift all the way up as you press into your elbows. So you can take your left ankle and just press it onto the top of your right knee. So for those of you who really value an inversion, this will be for you. We're going to take the left leg up and, well, both legs up, and just go into shoulder stand. Take the left foot to the floor. You can do what you want with this right leg. Take your hands to your low back, bend your right knee, and just go into this supported bridge pose. Left leg up. Let your hips come back down and hold the back of your left knee, coming to where we started. Right leg can extend out. And if you want to hold on to your left foot, you can. And then just release the left leg down. Let yourself rest for a moment. Take a few deep breaths. Fully rest. All right. And then right leg. You're going to bend your knees, right leg over top of your left. Your hands can hug in your shins. Hold your feet if that's more appropriate. Or your shins. And then just let your knees fall to the left. And you can use your hand to help guide your knee into the right spot. Keep your right shoulder on the floor. And then adjust your gaze where it feels appropriate for the extension of your whole spine, including your neck. Good. And then come back to center. Plant your left foot right. Actually, we'll start off this way. Pull your right knee in. Hold the back of your left leg and keep your left knee bent. So knee in towards your shoulder, to your torso. And then lift the foot up, lift your hips up. Stay here for a couple breaths. And then with your hips on the floor, both your feet up, and we'll move towards that shoulder stand. Right leg can come over your head. Feel free to do what you wish with your left leg. If that means that your foot also goes over your head, or you bend your left knee.
And then the left knee is going to bend, and we'll transition. Slowly, left foot comes to the floor. And you come into this bridge shape, supported with your hands under your back body. Lift your right foot up. Take your right heel to your left knee. Press your hips up. And then lower your hips to the floor. Do a little happy baby here. Hold the outside of your feet. Pull your knees to your outside of your torso. Now, if there's any other positions you feel appropriate to take, do that. It might even feel good if you take a block and you put it underneath of your chest. I love this position. And placing a block under your head. Take a few breaths. This is a great place to slip into Shavasana. If you want to do that a little bit longer today, enjoy. Namaste.